What's up, everybody? You are tuned into the Elks Call, your home for Edmonton Elks fan talk. My name is Scout, aka the Rep from Section X,
And I'm Catherine, aka Javon Elks.
coming to you live on Shotgun Sports Network with the replay airing exclusively on Edmonton Sports Talk. Kathy, the Edmonton Elks finally got their first win of the season.
I know. Oh, are we frozen? No, there you go.
We're good. We're good like the Edmonton Elks. I mean,
Yeah.
it's nice to get that win. How are you feeling about that one?
Good. And we're going to talk all about it. But that was nice. I'm really glad that we got that out of the way and we're in.
We've
started.
We've started. We've started. Yeah, it's great to get that first win. It's always a big deal. We get to break it down today on the show. Most importantly here, we can't thank everybody enough for tuning in tonight. I know that we've shifted to a Thursday for some personal reasons, a little bit of stomach issues, but here we are. Here we are. Really thankful for you for riding with us here. Hit the like, subscribe, and favorite buttons to show some love. Your support means everything does here at Shotgun Sports Network. Show schedule for today is as follows. We are going to open up with the More You Didn't Know, where we talk about a variety of topics with our guests. Next, we're going to give you some Shotgun Sports updates, followed by Kathy's Herb Report, where we bring you the latest news and transactions in Double E Land. After that, we're going to give you an Edmonton Sports update, and then we are going to roll out our latest and arguably favorite segment now. Green or Gold, or basically we give you a hot or not, and we break down some of those options. And then, of course, we're going to finish this show with the fan forum, where we discuss hot topics surrounding the Edmonton Elks and the CFL as a whole. So, Herd Chat, you know what to do. Blow it up. We're interactive, which means our viewers can comment and ask questions in the Herd Chat if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook. But let's get this show rolling with the More You Didn't Know, where we talk with our guests. This segment is brought to you by Royal Retros. Save 10% off your order by using code Shotgun Sports, all caps, no spaces. If you like throwbacks, you'll love Royal Retros. They are the throwback kings, and they have CFLPA merchandise. CFL fans have been shopping with Royal Retros for years, and we hope you do too. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the show Edmonton media royalty and former Double E media man. It is Dave Jamieson. Dave, we saw you were at that last game as a spectator. How nice was it to not be on the clock?
You know what? It's and I'm going to be doing it again this Sunday. I'm a season seat holder. I'm an alumni director, but I'm a season seat holder, and it's a really cool experience to go and not have outside of what I did pregame, which was do a hot stove with the commissioner, and not have a role, and just go and look at the fans, obviously look at the game, wander the stadium that I know so well. I know I spent a good chunk of my life there, and kind of just absorb it. You know, I walked all over. I took Jack Cookson, who, if your Edmonton viewers know, owns Pro-Am Sports. Fantastic place to go for your wearables and jerseys and hats and all the cool stuff. And he hadn't been in a number of years. And so I took him on a stroll and showed him the Jackie Parker room. And we went up to those new low sheets, which, by the way, if you're thinking of going to a game and you want to take your business, your family, your friends, whatever, I'm doing a plug for the Elks here. The upper deck, which I know they've closed, right? And for good reason, I support it. But they've got these new low seats under a tent in the upper deck, man. Telling you, on a beautiful night, on any night, the view up there is stunning.
Yeah. It's so good, man.
The deck is the best.
It's interesting. We did get to try out the loge seats, and it was very nice in preseason because I hadn't felt like a guest in Commonwealth Stadium for so long.
Yeah, and I have never been on the Opera Bowl. I had never seen a game from the Opera Bowl, so that was the first time. It was amazing. I could see every single play. It was great.
Oh, so good.
I'm going to let you in on a little something. As somebody who spent, 14 years down, largely, in press boxes, but at field level, football has to be seen from up high. Yeah. To understand, when you're so close, it's just a mess of people. It's collisions. Well, you know what it is. but to get up top and look down on it, it actually makes some sense.
Oh yes, you miss a lot. I do find that you miss a lot if
Yeah.
you're watching.
It's very cool. It's under for those who don't know and they think because you use the hockey experience. Well, I got to be up close. Actually, hockey is even better from a little further away.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it is. Like even the view at Rogers Place, it's, in my opinion, it's nicer to see the hockey game from up top. You just get a way better view, right? No brainer. Obviously we do want to see that upper bowl opened at some point.
They'll get there.
They'll get there.
We'll get there.
I think so.
Well, and at least with the way that Loja is set up, you kind of have all those seats on the one side. They could open up the sunny side on the east side there. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Dave, we are extremely appreciative of your time tonight. Once again, Elks fans, if you are watching, make sure you throw your questions into the herd chat. We will get them answered near the end of the segment. Let's kick this off.
Mm-hmm.
Question number one here, Dave. Last time we talked to you, you were handling some double E duties for the 75th season. Can you tell us about your experience last year with the Elks?
Oh, it was fantastic. For those who don't know who the old guy is on their screen right now, I was there from 98 to 2012 as director of communications and then a vice president of communications and marketing and broadcast. And so, people, the media guy, but I did the marketing campaigns and as super fan always reminds me, you're the guy that brought back the fridge magnets. Yes, that was one of the things I did. And then last year went back to co-chair the 75 seasons committee with Evan Dom. And that meant writing and largely the dinner and co-hosting the annual dinner, which was the biggest I've ever had. And it was part of the 75 season celebration, which was the biggest reunion in club history. I mean, we brought everyone in, and I know you guys have talked about it, Warren Moon and Ricky Ray and Michael Riley and on and on and on. And it was like a galaxy of Eskimo and Elks players from the past. And we celebrated each decade. We had representatives of families from the 50s. And so in video and on stage, we did that. And, I did the hot stoves and talked to Warren and Hugh Campbell. And, I thought we did a really nice job of capturing the history, putting our arms around, at that point, 75 seasons of Double E football. And then, we had an event, obviously game day, which I was involved in. And we had a luncheon for the, it was great work and tremendous amount of fun. And it brought me back to a world I know well and am very comfortable in. And then as that was wrapping up, they had a departure, and Rick Lawlisher, who was the interim president at the time, he said, would you like to step in? And so I was there for 7 months as the interim director of tickets and service, an area that I hadn't worked in previously, but I, could draw on my experience and knowledge of the stadium and the fan base. And so that was a real treat as well, because I got to learn another part of the business. And I'll tell you, my key takeaway is selling tickets is very hard. It's a hard, and this is nothing about, yes, we know the Elks have had difficult years. And last year was also a tough year. But anyone who thinks that the dollars just roll in, people say, well, are you selling a ticket today? The question really should be, are people buying what you're selling?
Yeah.
And that is when you're new or trying to figure out what that world looks like. Even when I was there the first time, we had 25,000 season seat holders. That was sort of our but that was our base.
Right.
And so you could get to 35,000, not easily, but and then to obviously, and I was there for a couple of 60,000 plus and change games. Special things have to happen, where fans go, I need to be at this event, and they make it 60,000 or they make it 45,000 or whatever. And sometimes you're in control of that messaging and that sort of spark that happens, and sometimes it happens organically. We were a good team, or a great team, for a lot of the time I was there. This is a franchise, and we don't necessarily have to go through all of how they got to where they are, but it's hard work. And I know they've got a good team in place now with committed ownership. that I think I believe, going to be patient, because they're going to need patience. It takes time to get it back, and they may not get back to the best of days because the city has changed, the market has changed, but I think they can get back to a place where the crowds are robust, and both the organization and the fan base can feel good about it.
Well, and I mean, the other thing that the old Eskimos didn't have was an Edmonton Stingers, an Edmonton Riverhawks playing, on the same nights.
But I will say, Scout, we did have the Edmonton Trappers, and we owned them.
Yes.
And but you're now, and you guys know this, I mean, far better than I, you're competing against this. You could stay home and get so much more than you could before. Mm-hmm. And you don't have to venture out. And so, the Oilers just went to the Stanley Cup for the second straight year. They're out selling their season seat mini pack starting tomorrow. Yeah. They've got to work at it too. The money doesn't just walk in.
Mm-hmm. That you're right.
So but I'm not suggesting you're entirely wrong in what you just said there, but and I'm glad you referenced the Riverhawks. I mean, that is one of the great Edmonton sports stories of recent years, is that how they've been able to carve out a real nice space for themselves in the summer and give people a real viable option.
Yeah.
So you got to work hard, man. It's hard work.
It's hard work, and I mean, the Riverhawks have found a little bit of that magic where it's a lot more than just a game. Right?
Yes.
We've talked about this with the Double E before as well, right? I think we talked about it with you on the last episode. They had to find a way to get back there, and I think we do have a question about that, so I won't dig into it too much.
Sure.
Yet.
Yeah, you're jumping the gun.
Yeah, jumping the gun.
But let's go back as to what you're currently doing. We also know that you've been assisting EST with morning host duties, among other roles.
Yes.
So what has it been like being a media gun for hire at Edmonton?
Oh, media gun for hire. Well, you're very kind. It's what I am. It's I try to imagine me as and when I last did EST, was it last week or week before? Anyhow, someone said, "Hey," using a hockey term, Jamieson should be put on a PTO, a professional tryout, and see if he can earn a spot on the roster. Well, that's very kind, and we had a lot of fun, and I have really fond memories of my time at TSN 1260. All of the guys at EST are my friends. I cheer for them loudly, to do well, and I'm amazed at what they've done in they're not even 2 years old yet. So a gun for hire, I laugh at that because I think it's what I've called, I think more properly, is holiday relief. Is people need to get away and they go, okay, we trust this guy, he won't entirely screw it up, and then we'll come back and we'll still have our business.
I like that. Well, that just shows that you're reliable. That shows that.
Yeah, I show up. I show up at 5 a.m. Yeah.
Media glue.
Yes.
Over
yeah. There you go. Yes.
I know, but very necessary glue. Also, like Gorilla Glue or some really strong stuff. But outside of media, what have you been up to?
Well, as of April 1st, I have been serving as the interim executive director of Brain Care Center. And it's a little ironic for me, all those years working at the big stadium across the street. I'm now directly across from Gate 9 in the Buchanan Center, which is the home, people would know it as Parkinson, Alberta, and Parkinson Association of Alberta. And I'm with Brain Care Center. I used to be a board member for 6 years and was the chair of the board for 4 of the 6 years. And so they made a decision to make a change in the executive director role, and the board reached out to me. I was off the board, and but still connected to the organization, and they asked me if I would jump in. And so I've been there, and we're looking for a permanent executive director, someone that can be in the role, we hope, for several years and really change the fortunes of the organization. But Brain Care has been around in different forms. Brain Care Center, I should say, has been around, and there have been previous iterations. And the work we do is simple but hard. It's necessary work. Is we provide services and counseling and programs to those who have suffered an acquired brain injury, and an acquired brain injury is anything after birth. And so we work with adults 18 plus who have, and when I say work, it could be navigating the social support networks, applying for AISH, or there's a myriad of things. When you've suffered a brain injury, whether it's a stroke or a concussion or however it occurred, you have fundamentally changed your wiring, for lack of a better term. And you may not look different outwardly, but inwardly, it's a profound change for an individual, and by extension, their network, their caregivers, their family, their friends. Those relationships change now because that person has suffered a brain injury, and as we know, you only get one brain. They are hard to repair, sometimes impossible. And so you have to, we say, we help people defy limitations, and that's kind of what we do,
That's beautiful.
Thank you. It's really, and the group that is there now are quite amazing. I will say that, I sat on that board for 6 years. I thought I knew the depth of the work, but until you're in there day to day and dealing with, all sorts of things that you deal with in a not-for-profit, it's humbling, to be quite frank, and I have been humbled many times in the short time I've been there in terms of what I don't know, and but I've learned a lot, and it'll be an experience that I'm going to look back on fondly because of the people I've met and what I've witnessed, and when you come into a situation like this, you just hope you leave it better than you found it. And I hope, or I trust that that's going to be the case.
And you're, in my opinion, like just based on that last sentence there, I mean, it seems like you're the right guy to do that and to help fill the gaps, bridge the gaps, right? And I mean, obviously, if you really wanted it, you would be throwing your name in the hat, but you recognize that maybe this isn't something you're going to do for several years. So
and Scout, with that, it's also an acknowledgement of where I'm at in my life, and we've talked about this situation. I mean, my situation, it's like all of us, I face health challenges. I'll be 4 years. I say 4 years with cancer as of my diagnosis was June 5th of 2021, and I'm going for my 4-year scan. I never know if I should say I'm celebrating a 4-year PET scan or I'm just doing it and hope you get through it, fingers crossed, and it turns out well. But, there's all of that, and the condition that it's a chronic condition called dysphagia. And so, that is something that affects me day to day. And but just as a side piece, something I'm also involved in is I'm a patient advisor to a study at McMaster and Dalhousie University on dysphagia and swallowing issues in older people, which I am clearly. And I attended a conference in Chicago in May with the group and made a presentation, and we've done a webinar, and I'm going to Hamilton on July 20th to film a video about my patient experience, lived experience, and do some tests and that kind of thing.
Inspirational. I mean, it's also cool for you to go ahead and do that as well. It's easy for people to be scared with any ailment, really. People can go to the Mayo Clinic and throw themselves down the rabbit hole pretty quick. Or you can go ahead and be part of the solution moving forward, and that's what you're doing, Dave, and that's so cool.
Thank you.
Very admirable. Definitely. Those are the inspirational stories that we love to hear, for sure.
Love it.
Because once again, I mean, it's really easy to just not think about those situations, right?
Ignorance is bliss. Yeah.
Well, yes. I mean, it's funny you bring that up about the Mayo Clinic and WebMD and all that stuff. I mean, I've purposely tried. I told my surgeon once, look, you went to Stanford, I didn't. I'm trusting you. I'm trusting you that this may turn out well. It may not turn out well. I don't want to spend my hours online learning about this. I'm not the one who has to operate on me.
Yeah, or the
Tell me, tell me what I have to do coming out of it, which is why, you know, I'm such a staunch advocate for Alberta Cancer Exercise, which is at the U of A. Tell me what I need to do coming out of this to improve myself or get better or whatever that looks like. Going in, put me under, do what you got to do.
Yeah.
We'll take our chances coming out and we'll see where it goes.
Of course.
Love it.
Well, and that's just it. You leave it to the professionals.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I'm truly not.
And that's why we're talking to you.
Just like football, exactly. Yeah, we in our armchairs
Hey,
and everything. We
but
can.
I let you in on a secret. So it's my second year. It's 1999, first year with Don Matthews. And you guys are probably too young to remember Don Matthews, but you know the name. I'm a legendary CFL coach. And I made the mistake one day of going into Don's office. I'm probably trying to make small talk or whatever. I mean, I was intimidated by him initially. We became actually very good friends in the 2 years we worked together. But he turned to me one day and he said, "Hey, listen, I'm going to tell you something, JMO." And I went, "What's that, coach?" And he goes, "Just because you work in football doesn't mean you know anything about football." And I think I looked at him and I went, "You're probably right. Have a good day. And we'll talk to you later." Because we had our offices, like he was like down the hall, like 2 doors down. So we saw each other a lot, and he just had that way, right? Like he was just the Don and he could cut you down to size real quick.
Yes. Oh my goodness, that's so funny. Well, I mean, I guess we're not wrong, but in your own experience, with what you know, your expertise, we have seen that the Double E has slowly been returning to some of their past ways. You know, they brought back the fireworks, they brought back the fire truck, they brought back the sign. What are your thoughts on the return of these symbols? We'll call them symbols.
Well, they are symbols. I mean, they're iconic images of a time gone by. So I consider myself an Edmonton Eskimo. Okay. I'm not being careful with my wording. I'm not afraid of an opinion, obviously, and I have them. I was in media when they were going through the process of the name change. Now, so I had a good vantage point, and I talked to Alan Watt, who was instrumental in all of that, and he was part of the outreach to northern communities and the discussions in Ottawa and Nunavut and all of that. So I was aware of what was going on, and I was aware of how difficult a situation it was to navigate. In my role with the club, and again, in a different time, and I need to, give some context here. I, as the brand manager, steward of the Double E back then, we didn't think of it as racist, right? Which is, people have said it is, and about every year, a couple of years, I would receive a letter and sometimes a phone call from an individual, Nunavut, and this individual, God, I should know the name, lawyer, would reach out to me and have a conversation, and we had some really good conversations, and about the name and how he said others, and I have no reason to disbelieve him, felt it was disrespectful. Now, I defaulted in my conversation to, when the team was named, I mean, God bless our forefathers, they weren't terribly creative, because they were going, well, what are we going to use? Because they named the hockey team, the football team, and the baseball team Eskimos, right? Yeah. Like, it was across the board. So they were struggling, I'm sure, is how do we say it's really, really damn cold here? And no, I'm not being facetious. Like, they probably went, okay, we think we needed an E. Okay, if you need an E and you're limited there, okay. Let's go with that. And so, but we're a long way removed from those days. And so how do I feel about it? Well, at the dinner, I don't mind telling you, I've done a couple of things publicly. One, obviously, was the 75th dinner last year. And then previous to that was the annual dinner they did outdoors in 22 or 23. I think Victor Cui was the president. It was an outdoor annual dinner. Anyhow, before both of them, I said, what do you want me to do with the name? Because I'm not going to go up there and do a hot stove with Joe Holloman, Jim Germany, and Ed Jones and call them Elks.
No.
Because I don't know who is properly served in that. It's that they don't see themselves as that. No. And so when it came to the dinner last year, I went in with the same thing. I go, guys, you need to tell me now, because if I'm sitting with Warren Moon and Hugh Campbell, which I did, I am not going to look at them and try and, under my breath say Eskimos or Elks. Guys, remember when you were Elks?
How do you dodge that?
I either, and not to be dismissive at all, I know the conversations were tough. They've arrived at this. There were things that, that were in play in terms of both sponsors and levels of government, and the pressure on the organization to change its name. Yeah. I know people today will say, well, I would have just kept the name. Well, you weren't there in the room.
Yeah.
You weren't there in the room when the federal government or the provincial government or the municipal government was leaning on you saying, hey, next time you want to make a bid for a Grey Cup, this is when the team was community owned. Now they're privately owned, and you can do things, privately that you couldn't do as a community owned team. To answer your question, Catherine, about the images and stuff, it's the slow or medium slow roll back to where the owner would like to be.
Yeah.
I will say this, and that's his prerogative. How it's going to be greeted, there will be some who are very excited, and then there will be some who will not be, and they'll voice their displeasure on whatever platform they choose. Had this club, after a rebrand, been good, like there are things that have happened here that you almost can't quite believe. If they'd come out of COVID, or if they'd done the rebrand and emerged and gone on a heater, won a cup, been really good, not worn those stupid antlers on their helmets.
Exactly. And like that was a thing. Sorry, Dave. One of the biggest things was just like rebranding that team so far away from what it was to begin with. I think that was one of the biggest problems. But.
Well, and listen, we don't want to get into the aesthetics. There are people better qualified to talk about how teams should look. But I'm a traditionalist in that I in teams like Edmonton should look a certain way.
Yeah.
Like, don't mess with the New York Yankees, the Dodgers, play around with some other stuff, but not, and this seems trivial, but it is actually in sports, it's really important. And the rebrand of what they did and how they looked and those crab claws and all of that stuff, it looked gimmicky. It looked like a guy my age trying to look hip. Okay. And then they weren't good. So, okay, now we're layering on problems again. And, there were issues with the board of directors and whether there was right leadership, and then, just on and on. They couldn't fail, or they couldn't succeed, where for decades this club couldn't fail.
I mean, well, yeah, and then you're trying to wash that type of history. Another thing that they did as well was remove Dwayne Mandrusiak from such a monumental role.
Sure.
Losing Bone. Talking about what they're trying to do in bringing back all of these EE pieces, the EE winning way, the Eskimos way, as we call it. What are your thoughts? Like, what else can they do now to restore some of that old way?
That's it. Like, I mean, sign, and Dwayne is a dear friend of mine, and I actually, one of the great, didn't finish this part of the 75th, as I wrote the video, which we had Rod Smith of TSN voice. The guy's got a killer set of pipes. I know he was the right choice. We wrote, because Dwayne last year at the dinner, the last element of the night, to close it out, it was Dwayne's induction to the Builders Wall at Commonwealth Stadium. And it's an appropriate place for him to be alongside Hugh Campbell, Norm Kimball, Jim Hole, who people go, Jim Hole got Commonwealth Stadium built. Okay. Like when we say builders, true builders, and I believe Dwayne is in that category. And so that was the cherry on top of that whole great night of celebration was Dwayne and his emotional speech with his family behind him and talking about all of the things and how he got there and, you know, so on and so forth. And so to answer your question succinctly, which I haven't been very good at tonight, which is what they have to do, you have to win. Because signs and slogans and stuff are just signs and slogans and stuff, okay? I know what bone means. You know, I can go to the alumni room, as I do every game, and the guys who actually play, and I had a really good seat. Okay, I was there for all the practices for 14 years and all the games and the flights and the fights and all of that stuff. They're the players. They're the ones who truly get to say bone. Okay. Yeah. And I think they, to a man, would say win. You know, win. I mean, this is a team that set the standard in the 50s. The 60s were a wipeout. The 70s were pretty good. 75, 78, 79, really good in the 80s, and a league-defining franchise for a long, long time. And yes, there's ebbs and flows, but they want to get back there. They're going to have to win, and win in a way that is entertaining. And I think people now, whether they come back in monstrous numbers, I can't predict that. No one can. But if they can build off what we saw last Sunday, do it against BC, a very good club in the West, and keep it going. It's hard, man. If winning was easy, we'd all do it.
Exactly. Well, and I liked what you said, right? Win exciting games. That's what we just saw on Sunday. That was fantastic.
Well, I think we can just settle with winning for now.
Yeah.
Listen, if it's exciting or not.
I'm not terribly deep. I can't think of something else that they could bring back. I mean, unless you can give me a 25-year-old Dan Kepley and a Warren Moon at 23. You know, I don't know how you would sort of conjure up the good old days. The good old days were about winning. I mean, when, you know, I was there, as I say, 98 to 2012. So I look at the 02, 03, 04 uneven, and 05, which was an old team but won a Grey Cup in incredible fashion. That was like another sort of era of Eskimo football, that chunk of the 2000s, where, you know, that 03 team, because I'd be standing down there near the dressing room and then watching them go on the field, and there would be nights where you go, there's no chance anyone's beating us. Zero chance.
Yeah.
We've got Ricky Ray, Terry Vaughn, Jason Tucker, Ed Hervey, you know, that O-line up front, Alfred Pate. I mean, just like, good luck. Whoever we're playing, good luck.
You knew what you had. You knew what you had.
We knew what we had. Yeah.
Well, now let's talk about the team that we have right now, because I feel like there is some very special players. We've seen some promising plays, some promising players. What are your thoughts about the on-field performance this year? And even, you know, do you think that they hired the right people in the offseason to make this
Okay, let's start with the football ops side of things. You know, I declare my friendship and respect for Ed Hervey. I've known him since he came, I say back to Canada, because he did attend briefly a training camp with the Bombers. And then he lands with us, and I work closely with Ed, and we went through some tough times for, you know, with on-field stuff, that, you know, the helmet and all that stuff and the brawl. But all of that said, I know he can find football players, and I know he can find football players that are tough. And I believe I know the kind of style of team that he likes to roll out if those players are available. Mark Killam is an inspired choice as a head coach. He's been for a number of years, then that next guy, and now that next guy is here. Yeah. I hope they give him time. Just, you know, that their team is able to win, so that he can plant his feet under him. And you know, I know Jordan Maximic because I'd worked with him previously. He's obviously gone on to build a great career for himself. I know some of the other people on the staff, and so you know they look solid there. Okay, you know, JC Sherritt's a young coordinator, but you got to be young at some point. And we know what he was like as a player, and he's matriculated elsewhere in the CFL in Saskatchewan and Calgary, and he did some time down in college in the US. You know,
Auburn,
it's
I believe,
his
yeah.
time, go time now. And now, in terms of, you know, Catherine, to answer your question about the players, you know, you saw what Rankin done, Leake. We've seen him do that. You know, Tre Ford is, I won't say all of this pivots on Tre Ford, but a lot of it does. And how he's able to evolve. There is no doubt about his athletic ability. That is plainly obvious to anyone who, you know, has eyes and can see him do what he does. But in there, and this is not a criticism, it's just you know, I think it's stating fact, is grow into being the quarterback that the run isn't the first thing. If you don't see your first guy. You know, the game, everyone, this is a cliche, the game slows down for you the more you do it. And the more things make sense, and they make sense, you know, what you can do and what you can't do. And so that is exciting. That's why I think the wins early are really critical, because just to take some of the heat off the, oh boy, is Tre ready? You know, that conversation, it builds and snowballs and, you know, all of that. You know, if they go 2 and out, then you hear boos and you're like, oh God, okay. You know, we need time here, but they don't have a lot of time. Like people were struggling with whether last game was a must win. I thought it was.
Yeah, no, it was in order to turn this season around, right? And we are riding with Tre Ford now. I think the fans, the fans effectively called for this last year and the year before. We now get what we've been asking for. You can't move right on to Cody Fajardo, and I've already seen these cries. This is something we'll talk about later on, but we're riding with Tre Ford. The organization has picked a path here. And I do like what you said. You know, this isn't about Tre Ford just scrambling out. We know he can do that. How can you form him into the best possible version of Tre Ford and get that ball down the field? You know, that's what this team has to do.
100%.
Well, and you guys are too young, but I know you know the name Tracy Ham, and I didn't work with Tracy Ham. I saw him obviously as a Montreal Alouette and Baltimore Stallion, or CFL, or whatever they were called at the time. And you know, he was when he was arrived in Edmonton, he just ran wildly, like with reckless abandon. And then, you know, then you run less, and then you run only in special circumstances, and then you know, then your legs become a threat, but not something you always have to use. And so, you know, it just takes time, but the clay is there for them to mold. And if he's a good student and wants to learn, you know, they should be good. And Maximic has shown in previous stops that he can work with young quarterbacks.
Yeah, no, totally. The Nathan Rourke effect, right? Nathan Rourke did have a Michael Riley take a drink. Did have a Michael Riley. We have a thing going. Every time I say Michael Riley,
in every episode, people have to take a drink.
Yeah, so
yes.
There's your MR13, everybody. But you know, he did have a Michael Riley to work behind, but Jordan Maximic was able to take that system and mold, you know, Nathan Rourke into one of the best versions he could be. That 2022 season was absolutely crazy.
And I think on that point, I think that's why we were so excited to have MVT last year, because we thought that he would be that guy for Tre Ford.
Right.
That he would be the one to shape him, to coach him, to teach him, to guide him into what he could be. So definitely, I 100% agree. I think he's growing, he's evolving, and that's exciting to see, and that's positive.
No, and I mean, you see those results from Nathan Rourke and Jordan Maximic over there in BC. That is transferable over here, and I think that there is quite a bit of hope here. They just have to work that system together with Tre Ford's capabilities. We know we kind of know where he's at right now, but we still don't know what the ceiling is, and we still don't know what the floor is.
That's fair.
A lot of football left for the rest of the season. I would like to get to some herd chat comments. Dave, we've already kept you longer than we should have, so we're going to get to some comments or questions. Nathan Byer, what up, Nathan? He does say he wants a fridge magnet now. Chris Agar, the keyboard warriors who can't give up on the name issue, need to hear this conversation. Thanks for having this discussion, Dave. Chris Agar here makes a really good point. We hear a lot of it all the time. John Kirby here in the herd chat. What up, John? Dave, I love the interview you did with the commissioner this past Sunday for season ticket holders. Wish there were more. So you had some ears out there.
Well, I appreciate that, John. And with Dwayne Mandrusiak, who we're going to chat with on Sunday, I think we're going to start around 4:00, or when people kind of get settled in over there. It was really, for me, obviously it's going to be very special to sit with Dwayne and talk about. I mean, God, he's got more rings than he's got fingers, and I'm sure he's got more memories than he can, possibly conjure up. But, he's had some special relationships with some really important people for the franchise and for, the league as a whole. And so we can get to some of those places in the short time we've got. And I think people will, Dwayne has lots of stories, obviously, and I have lots of stories that you can't share.
Perfect combo.
Yeah. And not suitable for the workplace. But there are also, I think of, his friendship with Dan Kepley, and was very deep and very, very special, I'm sure, to both of them. So, but talking to the commissioner, and I knew Stuart Johnson when I was at Bell Media and TSN, and we met on a couple of occasions. And he's got, he's come in very clear-eyed. I think he's uniquely qualified to be the commissioner because he has seen the league at its best, and also I'm sure in the most challenging times. And he's been right there and been a big part of the success they've had in the partnership with TSN. And, I'm excited to see what he can do.
Well, and I think that there was a lot of concerns. We're going to talk about Stuart Johnson because he swung by our tailgate, which was extremely awesome. But he seems very personable. Call me Stu. Like, that was crazy. He's like, call me Stu. I'm like, whoa, okay, not a full Stuart.
No, he's definitely very down to earth.
Down to earth,
that's
yeah.
That's the one
yes.
we got from a lot of people that we were talking to.
Yeah. Let's dig back into this herd chat here. Let's go with this one question here from John. Last question for Dave. What do you think about the 1 p.m. home game on the August long weekend, August 2nd? It's a Saturday. Do you think that that's going to impact attendance? Is that a rough scheduled home game? What do you think?
Well, here's what I'll say. Having, been up close on schedules being made for my first 14 years, you think, in a 9-team league, how tough can it be?
Yeah.
You've got stadium availabilities, and Commonwealth is largely free. I mean, yes, you've got, big concerts that come through every year or seemingly every year. And so you have to work around those. But, you've got 8 other teams. They've got pressures in their market. I don't know what else is happening in the world of sports, what TSN has commitments to. Do I love the 1 o'clock start time? Well, as a man of my age, yes, of course. Because then I don't want to stay out late. But you also, that is early. And I'm going back to a time, there were times when games weren't televised.
Yeah.
Like you'd have a game on a Saturday afternoon, maybe a Sunday afternoon, and nothing. No CBC, no TSN. And CBC used to pick up their coverage at Labor Day.
Yeah.
And so I've seen games, but to get to this start time, I don't love it. But if it were a Western opponent, 1 o'clock on a nice day, maybe we got something here. Maybe you've got, not everyone leaves town. Not everyone has a cabin. Not everyone has, So, we used to get complaints when we have schedules come out and people like, they really get after us. Friday night football, which was just starting to become a thing, right? And it was like, but I have to get out of town to go to the cabin. And I would say facetiously, like, when would you like us to play? Tuesday at 11? a.m.? Like what works for you? And then can we get 40,000 other people just like you to come Tuesday at 11 a.m.? And the call, obviously the guy knew I was being a bit of an idiot, but after you've taken 25 of those calls, and I took a lot of them, was, you guys screwed up with the schedule, and you don't want to throw your television partner, obviously, under the bus because we get a big check. You have to try and explain it is a more complex thing than people might appreciate, even in a 9-team league.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I mean, it's still a weekend. The only one that I don't like is Thursday nights because I still, it's a rush to get there, and then you still have
Sure.
the next day.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Sundays, I think we talked about Sundays on the last show. But yeah, I mean, I like the Saturday 1 p.m.er. I think that's fine. We're going to be doing pancakes in the tailgate for that one. So
exactly. We can have breakfast.
Yeah, a little breakfast in the tailgate.
Exactly.
All right. We did see a Dustin. What up, Dustin? Last game was definitely a must win. I like that comment. And then, of course, Dustin also mentioned CFL season-long fantasy incoming. I'm sure you're going to talk a little bit about that on EST tomorrow. We do know that you're going to be on EST tomorrow. You're going to be covering for Dusty, who I assume is on some CFL duties himself.
I look, it's Matthew Wannock and I, who we worked together almost 10 years at TSN.
Yeah.
So I don't know what we're doing. I know we've got David Naylor on as a guest, and that'll be fun. So we'll talk some CFL as we should. And, we'll go in and play around for 3 hours and stare into the camera awkwardly. And
just need low tide on there and
yes,
a soiree.
Yes, we can talk really arcane, sort of silly trivia that Low Tide and I bog down on sometimes.
Oh, love it. Can't wait. I'm definitely going to be tuning in tomorrow.
Yeah.
I hope everybody else does. Last question here, JMO, and then we will let you carry onward because, you got to host a show in the morning. But touchdown to win. As we know, a gentleman just won the touchdown to win for the 2 kick returns. We did have 2 punt returns, I believe, in the last Edmonton Elks game, but no winner for that. I think you have your own story about touchdown to win.
And I'm glad you brought it up because I saw the tweet from 3 Down Nation, I think, and it said, never been done before. And I understand the younger people, haven't been on the planet as long as I have, and so they don't have the depth of history. And I went, no, not never been done before. And I cast my mind back to 1999. And I tell you what a different time it was. It was early enough in my career that I didn't even travel for the first part of that season because we didn't have budget. So I was watching the game at home. Edmonton in Montreal to play the Alouettes, Percival McGill Stadium. Donnie Ashley and Giz both return kicks for touchdowns. And it was called Score and Win. I think Ben Safeway was the partner, if I'm not mistaken, many years ago. And I think we lost the game as well. So here's where I pick up the story. So this happens. Yay, someone wins $1 million. Turns out, whoever the woman was, an elderly woman back here in Edmonton who had swiped, or however we did it back then. So the team comes back to Edmonton, and I get contacted by the company. I think it was called Pro Motivate, and they said they were the ones who underwrite the promotion, and they're the ones that ultimately write the checks, right, for this thing. And they do. I'm sure they're not pleased when someone does this, but it's, they get publicity and stuff. They said, we'd like to have a news conference. We'd like to bring our winner in, and we'd like the players there. And we go through the process of setting this all up. So off we go. My job is to get Gizmo and Donnie Ashley to come over to a Safeway in Edmonton, and we get there, and Giz pulls up in a little yellow VW, when those bugs came back, and he was all, thought that was cool. And Donnie rode up on his 10-speed because he had, he was a player and had no money, and so that's how he got around, his little knapsack, and he jumped out and came in the Safeway. And we had the news conference in the produce section, and it was the 2 guys, and the winner, and the woman had no clue who we were. All she knew was that she won because her kids said, "Hey, mom or grandma or whatever, you just won $1 million." Yeah. So you've got this scene. There's this huge check. There's Giz on one side. I think she's in the middle. Donnie, who's smaller than Gizmo, and they're standing there grinning. And click, click, click. And she says a few words awkwardly. You know, there was cameras there to capture it all. I'm standing off to the side. So we wrap up, and the guys are kind of looking at me like, where's our stuff? And I kind of like, not now, and usher them out. Giz drives off. I think we went back to practice. Donnie rides over to Commonwealth. I get to the dressing room, and Giz goes, hey, can I see you for a minute? And I said, what's going on? He goes, are we getting any money for this? And I said, Hank, I hate to let you in on a little something here, but you're paid to play football. You did it. This is a contest that's like, so sad here, my friend. You made the mistake of returning a kick for a touchdown, but you don't just sort of get a check handed to you. So I tell, and Donnie was quiet and didn't say a word about it, and Giz is angry, like he kept going on about it. And then to make matters worse, the woman, God bless her, got a little thank you card and wrote, thank you in this old person scroll, and dropped it through the night slot at the old building. And I picked it up and I brought it over and I showed it to Giz. I said, hey, you got a thank you card. And that made him angrier. So I went to Jed Roberts and I said, we got to do something because number 2 is furious. And Jed goes, okay, I got an idea. He goes, can you get a big check made? Not like massive, but something we can put in the overhead. And because our next game was in Toronto at Skydome. And I said, yeah, I can get something done. What are you thinking? He goes, get a check up, pay to the order of Gizmo Williams, put $1 and get her name done on the bottom, or like whatever. So I got it done. William Huff Advertising. I went to Bruce Simpson and the folks out there. Got it done. I carried it. And back then we flew commercial, like no charters. We had it wrapped in brown paper. Get off. I'm carrying this thing. I don't want to break it. Core plant, carrying it carefully with my bag. Get to Skydome. We have a walkthrough practice. We used to call them hat days. And hat days, guys wore hats. They wore all sorts of weird stuff. They were nuts. They call the team to the middle after they go through, and everyone, they chant or sing a song or whatever. And they gather in the middle of the field at Skydome. And they go, JMO, come on in. And so I come running out with this check. And everyone separates, and Jed takes it, and he calls Giz forward. I think it was just Giz. I don't think Donnie was fine. And they presented him with the $1 check. And it was just, and Henry was still angry and couldn't believe that he didn't, because he was so great, didn't also get $1 million. And we said, that's not how the game is played. Henry.
Check the contract, Giz.
Check the contract. Fine print, my friend.
So funny. Oh,
yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, so it's been done, albeit a long time ago, but whoever this individual was that just won, and I think you get like how much, 50,000 a year for 20 years or something?
Yes. Yeah, I believe 50,000 a year for 20 years. I think it's something like that, or twice a year or something like that. But yes,
yeah. So but anyhow, that's the $1 million.
What Giz would do even for the 50,000 out of that,
Yes. Yes.
That's amazing. That's a great story. We do have John over here saying, I would pay to hear Dave for 2 hours. Just telling
well, at my age, I might repeat some, but yes, I people have said, hey, can you tell us the Alfred Payton going to court story or whatever? Yes, I
love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
John Hayden also says great story, has a story of his own. We'll get to that after JMO is out of here. Great story. And then Dustin also says great story. So yeah, man, I mean, Frig, we could talk to you all night, Dave. We know that you have to, we definitely wanted to keep this short, and unfortunately we didn't, because we could talk to you all night. I apologize.
If it wasn't a school night, remember school nights, you got to get to bed. It's a school night. I would hang with you guys because I always enjoy our time. But I always think I run the risk of repeating and boring the hell out of people, but some of them are, some are crowd pleasers. Mandrusiak's got the best. I will step aside, and nobody beats that guy.
Hey, but JMO, close second, and our listeners and viewers do get to see you on EST. You are opening up the show tomorrow morning for
Yes.
the Milton Show with Matthew Owanek. Classic combination. Can't wait. Everybody check it out. 6 a.m. on Edmonton Sports Talk. Dave, we know that we can find you online at the Dave Jamieson on
Yes.
X.
Infrequently. All I do now seemingly is identify old goaltenders from the 70s. And which I love doing, which I don't know why I would care who played for the 72 Pittsburgh Penguins, but I do somehow.
Or the California Golden Seals.
Yes, my personal favorite. Yeah, well, and the last tweet I did is funny you should mention that, is I was in the upper deck with Jack Cookson, and we looked down, and Jack goes, 2:00. Just look down, and lo and behold, there's someone wearing a Seals jersey, Gilles Meloche, the greatest ever. And I went, green and gold, right? I mean, this individual probably said, geez, I don't have an Elks jersey to wear tonight. What have I got? He pulls this 27 Seals jersey. Was fantastic.
After your own heart, Dave.
Yes.
Man, this was a fantastic chat tonight. Once again, everybody can check you out tomorrow morning at on the Nielsen Show on EST. Dave Jamieson, we cannot thank you enough for shifting. Can't thank you enough for your time. And lunch is on me. So Twin Water, we still got to make it happen. And now that my job is not so busy right now, I think we're gonna be able to make it down. As long as you are, as long as you're not the gun for hire, just out there. So. Once again, can't thank you enough, man. We'll let you go. Have an awesome night, Dave.
Yeah, you too, guys. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you, man. And that was Dave Jamieson. Just the greatest.
Every time. I could also talk to Dave just for hours and hours and hours and just hear him talk.
So good. So good. Tears of joy right now. Always a good chat. John Hayden does have his own story here. I was flying commercial once and sitting in business class, and Doug Flutie was in the seat next to me. That would be cool. I was actually thinking about Flutie Flakes today. I did see the clip of him pitching for the Savannah Bananas at Fenway Park. I think that was pretty sweet. Shout out to Dave Jamieson for joining us. He did shift because we unfortunately had a little bit of a Taco Tuesday fiasco. That
literally to this guy.
If you listen, okay,
it was on a Wednesday.
No, it was a Tuesday.
You did have them on Tuesday.
It was a wreck. I was a wreck on Wednesday. Do not buy 50% off taco kits from the grocery store. I'm not going to out the grocery store, but just do not do it because it could mess you up.
Nobody else had it, just him, and
it was
that's probably a good thing. It's probably a good thing.
Very bad. Dustin, thanks a lot, man. Great interview, guys. Can't thank everybody enough for tuning into the Elks Call tonight. You're rocking with the Elks. If you are listening on TuneIn Radio,
how do we follow that up?
What do you mean?
Just send it now. We can't follow up a Dave Jamieson interview.
I'm trying to get to the next segment. You interrupted me.
Sorry. All I'm saying is that we shouldn't because we can't.
Oh, we can't. I know. You're completely right. Very hard to follow up after Dave Jamieson, but we do have Kathy's Herd Report coming up, where we talk about recent news, transactions, and everything else. Also got a little bit of tailgate talk, got a little bit of fan shout out today. Today's Herd Report is brought to you by the Rouge, White, and Blue podcast. Oz and Joe have you covered on the latest happenings in the CFL from across multiple borders. So go check them out. Americans Talking Canadian Football, Rouge, White, and Blue, only on Shotgun Sports Network. Tailgate talk.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that tailgate. Was that not a fun one?
It was fun. Yeah, I feel like every tailgate is really fun.
Yeah, but not often do you have the CFL commissioner roll up on your tailgate.
Yeah, that was different.
That was crazy. Stuart Johnston. Cool. So I'll tell the story real quick. Stuart Johnston ended up rolling up with Evan Jones from the Edmonton Elks. And I'm like looking, he's got a plate, and I'm like, I don't know, do I have enough poutine? I'm trying to figure out if my fries are cooked and everything, because I obviously got to serve this guy some poutine. And he's like, I'll just take some fries. I'm like, oh, thank you. But introduces himself and pulls the whole, like, don't call me Stuart, call me Stu. I'm like, whoa, like this guy's got a little bit of Aussie in here. And asked him how work has been, and he's like, well, I just traveled to 9 different stadiums within like a month.
Be busy.
Super busy guy, but still took time to go to a lot of tailgates and tailgaters and shake hands and do the kiss the babies thing and everything. But it was actually genuine. I think that was the cool part of it.
Seriously, if you didn't know before who he was, I don't think you could tell that he was the commissioner. Just because he wasn't acting like he was a big deal. He was just acting like another person that is walking around at the tailgate.
He had like a dark jean jacket on.
Yeah, totally. Who was it that was saying that he probably just came back from the Stampeders, from the Calgary Stampede,
from the Stampede Bowl,
yeah, that's why he was wearing his cowboy boots and his jean jacket, right? So, super.
But he fit in.
Super chill guy.
Super chill. We do have our speakers corner coming out soon. So if you did get pictures, they're going to be up most likely tomorrow.
Yes.
Because we have another tailgater on Sunday, which
they will be tomorrow.
Very exciting. And then we did also get to see some of our viewers and listeners in the tailgate. Steve Benassi, what up, Steve? John Hayden, our usuals, and Neil and Katie beside us. Strathcona Sam, he's always good stuff. Saw VR Montenegro. VR is always good stuff. So it was really cool. Andy, shout out Andy. So I mean it was awesome. Saw Travis as well, and Sinjin I think we caught on the field after. So shout out to everybody that swung by. I think we served around 40 portions of poutine. And we ran out of poutine real quick. Also shout out to the Turf District as well. It was good chatting with Andrew.
Yes, for serving the leveled up poutine.
Yeah.
You start with ours and then you level up.
We had the knockoff.
No, we had to do it that way. We were telling people to start with us and then go get theirs, because if they started with theirs and then came to us, it would be a little bit disappointing. You don't want to do that. No. You don't want to do that.
No, going from the Turf District to the Elks herd poutine.
Ooh.
Yeah, it just doesn't work. Rather disappointing. So, but yeah, no, it was still fun. And then we got to go to the game. Unfortunately, we missed Dave's hot stove, but we did get to go to the game.
Yeah, we did.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about the game. Start with the first quarter. That first quarter, it's opened up with early fireworks from the Edmonton's offense. So that was exciting. Tre Ford definitely showed that he meant business by leading a very aggressive drive capped by a 45-yard touchdown by Justin Rankin. Massive. Iffy moments in that drive, though.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that for sure. Tre was throwing at the very last second before being taken down or the ball being tipped. But still caught by Rankin before that. So there were some iffy moments.
Check downs, a couple of check downs. Tre, the offensive line, I think they did all right, but it's also on Tre Ford to get that ball off fast enough.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of both.
It worked out. It worked out at the end for that drive, but I'm making that point for a reason, and I'll come back to that a little bit later. But that's a point. Edmonton followed with a convert point and a single on the kickoff. Vincent Blanchard once again had himself a really good game. So the Elks quickly scored again with an 8-yard touchdown pass to Curly Gittins Jr. plus the extra point. Strong special teams plays definitely allowed them to end the first quarter with a lead.
And that was nice. That was nice.
Have we have seen a lead in the first quarter?
Not very often.
Yeah.
This year?
I think so.
Yeah, Winnipeg.
Yes.
Winnipeg.
Yes. And then we know now to not really count that just yet. We gotta wait. Second quarter, let's talk about the highlight of the game. The Javon Leake breaking the game wide open with a stunning 94-yard punt return touchdown.
Okay, for the first time in 10 years at Commonwealth Stadium. Okay, that's a horn. We're at home.
We did hear that from our Yes, it's been 10 years since the last time that we've seen that at home. We did see another one by Deontis Alexander back in 2023, but that was away. It wasn't at home.
It was away. We did talk about that one and did happen too.
Yes.
I remember us being excited on season 1 of the Elks Call.
You did say that was the curse of Gizmo being broken, but not quite, because that wasn't at home.
Right, exactly. Now we can say. Well, and I mean 2015, right? I mean, that's still, when you consider the fact that it's taken this team 10 years to get another return touchdown, it goes to show what they're building right now. And this goes back to that question that we asked last week on the Elks Call. Would you rather have an 0-3 team that is progressively getting better, which is 2025, or would you want to have a team that's supposed to be stacked already, 2024, McLeod, Bethel Thompson at QB1, right? Like what scenario would you rather have? Obviously, the progressive one seems to be working.
Yeah, for sure. And we've said it before in this season that as long as there's progression, as long as there's improvements, then you know that the team is going the right way.
Right.
So, Leake's return, it came just minutes after he had already delivered a 35-yard return earlier in the quarter. So he had been really doing well in special teams.
Right.
Ottawa, however, they bounced back late in the quarter with a touchdown pass from Crump to Gina Lewis. That drive really seemed to spark life into the Red Blacks, and they had themselves a 97-yard punt return touchdown by Pimpleton.
Yeah, so that was painful right after, right?
But even what our youngest said, he was like, I don't even care. I'm not even mad. What are the chances of 2 return touchdowns in the same game?
He did say that. So, like, we're celebrating with our kids, and we're like, look, like, you guys don't understand how rare this is. And then that happens, and he's like, I'm not even mad. Like, I don't even care. Before we get into the second half, let's take a look at the herd chat real quick. Dustin does say, rather have this team now. So, yes, I completely agree. Stephen Assey, that was so great to see in reference to the return. But then I like what Game Day Baby says here. Shout out Ken Shapka. Short yardage was a concern. Let's talk about that.
I'll bring that up at the end of the third quarter, because that's where we started seeing a lot more of that. The third quarter opened up with a penalty-laden sequence that gave Ottawa a favorable field position. But the Red Blacks really couldn't capitalize, and they stalled, punted early. Edmonton responded with a promising drive that ended on a turnover on downs after 2 failed quarterback sneaks.
Turnover on downs, sad party.
Tre Ford was sacked. He fumbled the ball. Thankfully, Ottawa was called for roughing the passer penalty, which gave us a first down instead.
Bailed out on that. We got bailed out by the refs.
So the Elks brought Fajardo in a 2nd and 1 situation. I'm not sure if you noticed, but Fajardo had himself a few drives throughout this game that were not his usual short yardage. So they kind of changed that a little bit.
No,
there was a lot of back and forth.
Mark Killam did address that. Mark Killam did say that they wanted to get Cody Fajardo some snaps. We should have thrown this in the green or gold, but I mean, herd chat, let us know what you think here. Was that really constructive?
I don't think that's a really good coaching decision, because
I don't understand it.
That breaks momentum.
Yeah.
Right? It doesn't matter if Tre Ford was just sacked. Right? Now you're adding to it by saying, you know what? You step down, we're going to put Fajardo in. Maybe it was already planned. But either way, you're not giving the quarterback time to get accustomed to his role and start throwing.
Well, like Dave Jamieson said, we got to ride with Tre Ford. So throwing in Cody Fajardo doesn't really instill that faith, right?
Not necessarily. And we have seen it before that Tre Ford, sometimes it takes him a little bit to get warm.
Yeah.
It takes him a quarter or 2 to start getting back to being comfortable with what he has and being able to play. If you're constantly switching him back and forth with Fajardo, you're not giving him the chance to get used to whatever is happening.
Well, and how did that work last year, right?
Right.
It didn't really. We still missed the playoffs.
Yeah. And after, he did have that 46-yard pass to Leake again that set them off in scoring range. Which, by the way, if you've seen the highlights, if you remember that play, it was a crazy double coverage 50-50 ball that he threw.
And Javon Leake came down with it.
It could have gone either way.
Yeah.
100%. It could have really gone either. I was surprised that Javon Leake caught it.
Well, where we were sitting in section X, we had no clue if he had actually come down with it. That was we were waiting, and then all of a sudden you heard everybody cheer, and you're like, okay, yeah, he got it.
Yes. And with just 4 minutes remaining, running back Justin Rankin again exploded with a 74-yard touchdown run. Another massive highlight of the game.
Crazy.
You know, they kept the lead going into the fourth, a little too close for comfort, in my opinion. But yes, let's go back to that short yardage situation. Like whether it is switching Fajardo from his usual short yardage roles that he's been successful in the past.
Right.
We knew that when he was at 3rd and 1, he could make it happen. Maybe 2nd and 1, when you're giving him the chance to snap, maybe that changed things a little bit. What about punting on that 3rd and 1?
Oh, well, punting on 3rd and 1. I think at that point they recognized that their offensive line was a mismatch, especially in that scenario. For whatever reason, Ottawa was just better. Their defensive line was better at shutting down that 3rd and 1 scenario. I'm not gonna lie. I think I'm gonna say that it was smart because you don't want to give up field position like that on another turnover on down sad party. I would rather get the field position and ensure, especially when you have the lead. If you don't have the lead, you have to play riskier football. When you have the lead, you have to play protective football. So you have to protect field position, and that's why they were punting that ball.
Sure, but at the same time, like, come on, don't you have faith? And we've seen it
They didn't have faith.
Well, but is it because suddenly Fajardo was put in 2nd and 1 and he didn't make it happen because he was not pushing through? He was not running.
Would Tre Ford have done better?
No, I think the Fajardo would have done just fine if he had kept to that position that he's been really excelling at, which is those 3rd and 1s, push it through.
But he's still more comfortable as a starting quarterback. That's the thing.
But he's been doing fantastic in the past 3 games. When a lot of those games, the only touchdowns that we had was Cody Fajardo pushing it through in those 3rd and 1 situations.
Yeah, you're not wrong. But like I said, with this game, it's a little bit different because Ottawa obviously has a strong defensive line that was able to shut down that scenario, right? So let's take a look at the herd chat here before we dig into the fourth. Dustin does say that switching back and forth definitely breaks momentum.
Sure.
Stick with one quarterback. And then Game Day Baby also says it broke all the momentum Tre had. John Hayden here does say we cannot be doing the back and forth thing again, but I am okay with Cody playing a few spots. And I don't know if he necessarily needs the snaps. Like, I don't know if you have to go back and forth like that. It kills momentum. I mean, Tre Ford, he's starting to play a little bit of tempo, like he's kind of getting into a groove, and then you go ahead and take that away. It doesn't matter in the middle of the game if he's taking his lumps in the 3rd quarter. You got to come back for the 4th. You need something to build off of, right? And then we've seen this with this team time and time again. This team seems to fail in certain quarters. The 3rd quarter actually wasn't too bad for the Elks this time, especially with that big play from Rankin. The O-line opened up a hole. He found it real quick, and we were able to see it. I did tweet about it or post about it, whatever you want to say, but as soon as you saw that hole open up, you saw Rankin go, and I'm like, that's going to the house. That's a touchdown right there, and he's running. And boy, did he ever. John Hayden here also does say, I am all for punting it on 3rd and 1 and letting the defense do their job. Mark Killam bet on that defense in the 4th quarter.
That's what we said. Like, that's exactly what he's doing. If he's not going to push it through, if he's not going to put Fajardo in, it's because he's betting on that defense, and the defense better do their job.
Yeah, and like Game Day Baby says, gives confidence to the defense, kick it and make a stop.
Yeah.
And that 4th quarter.
Well, and sometimes it's iffy. That's another iffy situation that you don't know if that's going to happen, right? I mean, we've seen games that the defense 100% can make the stop in very critical situations, and then we have seen other games that you're like, man, what what are you doing?
Yeah,
right? So
no,
it's
other scenarios where you don't necessarily want them to bank on the defense.
either way, you're putting your confidence in one or the other, whether
Yeah.
it is in your short yardage quarterback or your defense to be able to make it stop.
Yeah.
Right. So he made the right call at that point. I'm going to say the defense did their thing. It was just really weird to see. I'm not going to lie. I wasn't
Yeah.
expecting that. Going into the fourth quarter, it was a back and forth affair. Vincent Blanchard responded to Ottawa's field goal. And although Ottawa refused to go quietly with a final minute touchdown drive, another field goal on our end and a single point at the end were enough to keep us with that same cushion.
Okay, and this was a kick rouge, by the way.
Yes, it was.
Well, the rouge,
It
I
was
love
a
it.
single
Kick rouge,
point, definitely.
so good.
Both defenses had solid stands in the fourth, forcing punts, limiting big gains. But the Elks definitely had the ability to consistently answer Ottawa's scoring efforts. They maintained control, and special teams definitely proved to be the key to closing out this game with a 39-33 win.
Let's go.
Yeah. There were a lot of highlights in this game. Another one. There were a lot of highlights in this game. Of course, it was the first win of the regular season. That's always a plus. Rankin, he racked up 105 yards on the ground and added another 69 yards from 4 receptions.
Love it.
Leake had a career-long 94-yard punt return touchdown, another return for 35 yards. They are referring to themselves as Thunder and Lightning.
Can't get enough of this game. This is just so good. Thunder and Lightning, yes. Rankin is also he was the top rusher and top receiver, I believe.
Yeah.
So he's got hands, he's got feet.
Oh my goodness.
And Javon Leake, he's got hands, he's got feet.
Yeah, they're exciting to watch.
Crazy combination in those guys.
Mm-hmm.
And the running game has been an issue here for how long?
Yeah.
Right? Here in Edmonton. Like, I mean, since James Wilder Jr., really, for the Edmonton Elks since 2021, 2022, this team has not seen a solid running game with hands. Like when you got to do your check down, Rankin's right there, Leake's right there, or whatever. Maybe Leake goes out for this massive catch in double coverage. Right now, they're playing with a little bit of moxie.
Yeah, I love it.
A little bit of moxie. You love to see it. It's great to get a win. I know I celebrated. I think the city of Edmonton Elks fans were celebrating pretty good that
Everybody that
night.
was there.
It was
sure.
Sunday night, right?
Yeah, no, it was great. Special teams.
Vincent Blanchard
doing 8 for 8. He remember the first game that everybody was like
bring Dean Faithful back. And you can't tell me that it didn't look scary, okay? Because it did look scary preseason and then game one. Like we didn't even know who our kicker was until game one.
And you know what? There were a couple of people that said, "Give it time."
Yeah.
Give it time. It'll happen, right? So he's been showing that he knows what he's doing. I think that would have been a really good call.
Yeah.
He's good. Stephen Dunbar Jr. too. He caught a team high 6 passes for 55 yards.
Well, and I mean, it's great to see Stephen Dunbar Jr. doing his thing too. He's a quality wide receiver, and we need to utilize him as such. Like, it's great to see Rankin and Leake get these catches, but Stephen Dunbar Jr. should be one of your cogs. Right. I'd like to see a little bit more Keon Julian Grant. I'd like to see a little bit more Curly Gittens Jr. I'd like to see that ball move around a little bit more and see some bigger plays from the other guys.
Yeah,
but
I think we're starting somewhere. Like Chris here, like he says, I have seen more sensible trust in the on-field talent this season that CJ's entire last EE tenure. Killam and Harvey have brought a foundation that previous regiments haven't. I'm loving this build.
Yeah, I mean, Killam and Harvey so far are a great combination. I think that they're building and they're progressively building. That's the thing. Like Chris said here, loving this build. Right? Yeah. We didn't know what we had going in. We thought we had some decent pieces. We're starting to see what this team can do now. Would like to see a couple more things, and I mean, let's talk about it.
And of course, I mean, as long as they're improving every game, as I said, then you know that they're going in the right direction. Yeah. But I do think that there's still a lot of things that they can work on. At the beginning of the herd report, I mentioned a lot of those iffy moments. We had a few of those throughout this game. And in some ways, it felt like many of these big plays that we had were more due to chance rather than being orchestrated by the coaches.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe it's not a bad thing, but it did feel, I did make a mention of like, is that a fluke? Was that a fluke?
Yeah, but good teams find ways to win.
Well, of course. I'm saying it's not necessarily a bad thing, but if there's definitely, things can be cleaner. There were too many stall drives.
Yeah.
We did see that. Still penalties that shouldn't have happened. There's still little things here and there that need to be better. But that's the thing. When you know that things can improve, then you have something to work towards. So as long as there is an improvement every time, then we're looking good.
Well, an entertainment factor. Like let's quickly talk about that before we move along into the transactions. But the entertainment factor, was that not one of the most exciting football games you've ever watched at Commonwealth Stadium?
That was fun. And you know how I know that it was really entertaining? Because our youngest, who usually complains and wants to leave after the second quarter, the game finished and he was like, "That's it? That was so fast." And I was like, "Buddy, we've been here for 3 hours." And like, that's how you know that it was entertaining.
That's how I used to feel watching Michael Riley sling the ball. That's a drink. Everybody drink.
I don't have a drink anymore, but
in case you're tuning in now, whenever Michael Riley gets mentioned, it is now a drink on the Elks Call for the rest of the season. So
we're gonna have an extra drink around here with how many times you mention it.
I love it. John Hayden here, our Section K was having a great time last game. Mm-hmm. Love that comment. Section X was as well, even with the opposition's family down there. Apparently somebody was upset that Kyle was screaming like a banshee. Anytime the defense, like the PA announcer, Graham Osman, would say, "Make some noise," and Kyle, like a banshee. It was fantastic, except for the fact that this lady was upset. So, but hey, you know what? She's probably upset because her team was losing. John Hayden also does say that he thinks the kicking game is looking super promising. I tend to agree here, John. Steve Benassi, that game was a great game to watch. Very entertaining. That's why we go, right? Game Day Baby does say the feel in the stadium was great. And that's the thing. You want to be shoulder to shoulder with people enjoying this game, not going home upset, but enjoying yourselves. You're at a football game to be entertained.
Yes.
Now, if the Edmonton Elks would have lost that one, I think I would have been a little bit disappointed because this was a must-win game.
Yeah.
But to get it, to walk away with the win, Elks fans rejoice, get to celebrate. It was good. And I mean, you want to be able to walk away from the stadium feeling good and feeling like you want to go back, especially if you're a new fan, you're somebody that's going to the stadium for the first time. You don't want to go for the Edmonton Elks lure of them always losing. You want to go to have a good time with your people, walk away with a very enjoyable experience. And I think that that's what they achieved. Seeing all of the pieces come together, Nanook out there, you have the new loges up there. Those are starting to fill up. Things are starting to come together for this team. More fireworks. You get all your fireworks back. The fire truck threw away so many footballs that both of our boys ended up getting a mini football.
Which is we usually have to fight for those or wait until a little bit later in the season.
They got them on their first game, so very thrilled for the boys. And that's part of what makes that magic, right? That's the game day magic.
We do have a question. Were you able to hear the house band last game in your section?
No, we could not hear the house band.
No. Oh, here you go. We have Dustin over here saying, "I have family in the USA, and let me tell you, more Americans watch and follow our games than you think," which is great to hear, really.
Love it. I mean, we did talk to Joe Pritchard of the Rouge, White, and Blue podcast last week, which this video name says Joe Pritchard on it.
My bad. That's on me. I'll change it as soon as we're done here.
Yeah, don't worry. You did catch the Dave Jamieson episode. It was just a technical difficulty, I guess we're going to call that. But But yeah, no, and
You
I
said
mean,
Mike Riley too many times before the episode.
you just said it. You just said it. You said the MR13 word. Everybody drinks. She said it.
See, I'm gonna have to come better prepared. But anyways,
Yes.
so.
But yeah, no, it is great to see how much the CFL is expanding to the American viewers, and especially those Sunday games, right? The Sunday games definitely help with that because people are used to watching NFL on Sunday nights. So I'll say for American viewership.
I love it. Oh my goodness.
We're not getting into this again.
Okay,
We're not getting.
Okay.
Let's move along.
Yeah. Transactions. We did have one on July 2nd. American defensive lineman Tyreek Johnson was signed.
Right.
Injuries. I know Dave Campbell posted some updates, and I'm not sure what's the latest. But based on the website, we do have David Beard and Javon Leake that had limited participation.
Right.
So we're not sure 100%. We don't know.
David Beard is nearing a return, which is very nice to see. It might not be this week.
Yeah, they did remove him from the six game list.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Malga Clements, did I say that right?
Yep, you got it.
He did not play, and the same thing with Robbie Smith.
Did not practice, yeah.
Did not practice.
Yeah, and I think Robbie Smith is the biggest concern because Robbie Smith actually had himself a great game on Sunday. So to see him out right now, that's going to be a little bit concerning for the defensive line, especially going up against BC, who has a pretty decent offensive line. Yeah. That's going to be the matchup that I'm watching for the most. Yeah,
well, I know that they're hurting a little bit. BC is hurting a little bit right now. They have quite a few injuries. So I know that their defense is affected, and it might be in our favor.
Ooh, Catherine coming out here. Maybe you have a prediction for us today.
No, I don't. No, I refuse. But what's next? Sunday, July 13th, Edmonton versus BC at Commonwealth Stadium for a prehistoric party.
We do not have a dinosaur effect, but I can get one in there.
You do it. You can do you can do your pterodactyl sound.
No, we're not going to do it.
Family packs, they have some available. 2 adult P5 tickets, 2 youth P5 tickets, and 2 Dino Kids meals for just $77. That's including a small pop Dino Nuggets, which is the new menu item for the game, and tater tots.
I want some of those Dino Nuggets. I know Dustin Nielsen would be all over those Dino Nuggets. He's probably calling the game that night.
Well, maybe.
He's probably is. So
that there's some Dino Nuggets.
Maybe we deliver some to him. You know.
There will also be a baby Dino crawl, which is pretty cute. Yeah. I'm gonna lie.
You'll be all over that.
And the now fan favorite T-Rex combine.
Oh, and that was funny last year.
That was pretty funny.
All the T-Rexes running on the field was pretty good.
I enjoyed it a lot. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to stay behind to watch the halftime game. So yes, what is your game preview? What do you think is gonna happen this game?
Ooh, BC Lions versus Edmonton Elks at Commonwealth Stadium. I think that this is gonna be another exciting game. This one could go either way. And we are going to talk about the Nathan Rourke versus Tre Ford matchup in the fan forum. Mm-hmm. So we do have that in-depth conversation coming up here in a moment. But as far as this one, I think it's going to be a field goal to win for sure. Ooh. Like, because Ottawa Red Blacks, I think I called it. It's going to be by a touchdown. It's going to be more than 10 points. I think is actually what I said. It ended up only being 6 points that they won by, or 6.
Yeah, it was 6.
Yeah. 38, 33, 5 points. 39? Oh, 39.
Hold on,
I thought it was 38 to 33. I just saw it. Pretty sure. Anyways, either way, they won by less than a touchdown.
No, it was 39 to 33.
It was 39 to 33. Okay, thank you. But yeah, no, I think it's going to be a field goal to win scenario. Because these teams are going to be a lot closer than Ottawa versus Elks.
Jamie in the chat.
What up?
I guarantee a win for my birthday.
Shout out to Jamie Fadoon for hooking it up with the game guide from the Elks versus Bombers game, and then of course the Stampede bullpen as well. Thank you so much.
Who did they say was going to have a birthday in the last game?
It was
That they were going to have a birthday. No, there wasn't another one for this game.
No, it was Jamie Fadoon for this one.
Oh,
It's Jamie Fadoon. So
well, there you go. We'll have another one.
Dustin does agree it will be a close one. Steve Benassi here does say I think it will be a close game, but another very exciting game to watch as well. Yeah, like with the way that our defense is playing, like we could be looking at another not a barn burner, but another shootout.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, how could I do like a 30-27 on this? Like, could it go that way? Like a 33-30 or something like that. Ooh, I like game day baby here in the herd chat. E by 6, baby. Let's go.
Love it.
I like that. That's some confidence. I'd love to see it. I mean, if they manage to pull that off more than a field goal,
oh my goodness,
I think that we really have something here.
Yeah.
Right. This is not necessarily a must win, but this is like a bit of a proving grounds type of win.
Of course, this is kind of to show what we've got. You know, can you push through and make it past some of the more difficult games that we have coming up?
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I think it's going to be a really good game. Who's your player to watch?
Player to watch. I mean, at this point, Justin Rankin and Javon Leake would be pretty easy.
I was gonna say thunder and lightning.
Yeah. Player to watch. I said Zach Mathis last time. I'm gonna go with Tyrell Ford this time. I want to see a Tyrell Ford interception. I want to see an interception out of Tyrell Ford because he hasn't been getting targeted too much.
Yeah, he hasn't.
He hasn't at all. The quarterbacks are scared to pass to him. Defensive play calling, the defensive schemes need to play on that. They need to take advantage of the fact that Tyrell Ford is not being targeted. Get your guys over elsewhere. Let Tyrell Ford do his job. Also, don't hang him out to dry. But if you're going to instill confidence and if you're going to have faith in Tyrell Ford playing his game, build the game plan around that.
Yeah.
You know, on defense. And I mean, the defensive line, they're going to have their work cut out for them on this one.
Yep.
That's my if there's a section that I'm keeping an eye on, it's going to be defensive line Edmonton versus offensive line BC.
That's exactly what I was going to say. That's the one thing that I'm going to be watching because just as Chris Agar here says, EE will win provided that they run the ball. Lines are hurting. Terry suspended. Keep Rourke off the field. E by 10.
Oh, E by 10. I like that.
So, yes, if we can manage, if our defensive line can manage to just stop that real quick, keep him off the field, then I think we have something. We can have,
Yeah, they have to keep away from Tyrell Ford for sure. That is game day, baby. And then Dustin also does say 35-32 Elks win.
See, people are
we got some
saying,
faith. We got some faith up in here. I like it. Just wild. I think that it's going to be a fun one. This last game was a lot of fun, but this is a really big task. Tickets are selling moderately well. We could see a 20,000 attendance. Sad that, we're talking about being excited about maybe a 20K, but here we are. They got to win to get fans back in the seats. John Kirby, I did see you ask earlier on in the herd chat, what can the Elks do? I know you were asking Dave Jamieson, but he had said it as you were asking it.
He answered it.
Yeah, they got to win. So
win.
that's it. I think they can. I think they will. But I do think it's also one of those 50-50 games, which that's a lot better than saying scheduled loss. I mean, I'm not going to say Ottawa's a scheduled win either. So we're now in the land of being fans of a competitive team. The Edmonton Elks can do it. They are starting to get a little bit trickier with the plays. They are kind of moving things around. I also did notice that Tre Ford didn't roll out once. Tre Ford did not roll out, I don't think.
I'm pretty sure he did.
If he did, it wasn't very often.
No, he did. He did, but then he passed it last second and it landed.
But there was no designed Tre Ford plays.
No.
And I think that is very interesting. They ended up getting that win without using Tre Ford's feet. They didn't, intentionally bring a spy or anything like that. They didn't try to catch the defense off guard.
Yeah.
They just played a passing game plan. That's crazy.
Sometimes, but yes.
No, but yeah, in general, right? Passing,
yes,
of course,
we didn't
rushing.
see him. We didn't see him scramble so much.
But somebody
Yeah.
did say, and I want to say it was John
Yes.
Hayden. Somebody did say, we got that win even without Tre Ford's legs.
Yep.
That's kind of what we need to see from this team.
Yeah, for sure. We know that we need a lot more passing. Whether it was a fluke or not, it still worked in our favor, but we know what we need, right? It was as long as, and we mentioned that, right? Tre needs to be able to, as Dustin says here, stay in the pocket, be able to make his second, third reads without scrambling, being able to trust his O-line to make sure that he can make those reads and then make the right play based on that. Not just not finding his first and then scrambling because he can't find that.
Well, and he found out pretty quick that doesn't work,
well, of course.
Right? Especially when this is your team, you can't expect to win off of all of that, right? Yeah. Just a short roll with the dump pass. So it wasn't, we didn't see that crazy Tre Ford play that. Are you kidding me, Dustin Nielsen call?
Okay. There were a couple of those. I was watching the highlight videos, and there were.
Are you kidding me?
I know.
Yeah. Classic Dustin Nielsen. Shout out Dustin Nielsen. You make the game a lot more enjoyable to watch on TV. Let's put it that way. Yeah. So gonna be an exciting one. We hope to see you down at Commonwealth Stadium for this next game on Sunday. We will be tailgating in Lot B.
What are you making?
What are we making? I believe it's Eddie cheesesteak time.
Ooh.
So some Eddie cheesesteaks. We're gonna be grabbing some cheap beef, some cheap meat, but not any 50% off meat.
No.
I'll put it that way. No 50% off meat.
We're not doing that again.
It's still gonna be delicious, but on a hot dog, half a hot dog bun, it's gonna be some steak. It's gonna be some peppers and onions, some garlic salt, and some cheese. So, very excited for this one. Hoping to serve 40 to 50. You know the drill. We've been selling out real quick. Just like Turf District ended up selling out halfway through the game. We're getting a lot more foot traffic in the tailgate.
Yeah.
So we'll do our best. But if you do want the eats, Dustin, yes, Lot B, you will see us there. Get on down there to try to get there between 2 and 4 because after 4 o'clock, I think we might be sold out. So. Yes. And then, of course, if you do not make it in time for some eats, we have some keychains. We're always down for a chat. We got Speaker's Corner, which, once again, our boy Stu, participated in. So, yeah, really fun stuff. It's always a great time. The tailgate goes undefeated. It's always a win. We will see you there. But next up, we do have an Edmonton Sports Update. Your Edmonton Elks defeated the Ottawa Redblacks by a score of 39-33 last Sunday. They continue their season on Sunday night when they host the BC Lions at Commonwealth Stadium. Kickoff is at 5 p.m. Mountain with the tailgate starting at 2 p.m. The 9-6 Edmonton Stingers defeated the Calgary Surge by a score of 113-90 on Sunday. They visit the Scarborough Shooting Stars on Friday with hopes of staying in the win column. Tip-off is at 5:30 p.m. Mountain. And the Edmonton Riverhawks also celebrated a victory against the Bellingham Bells yesterday, winning by a score of 5-4. They're back in action tonight in Bellingham with the first pitch at 7:35 p.m. Mountain. And don't forget that Love Pro Wrestling has events every month with their next event featuring the Clandestine Wrestling Society on July 30th. And then the main event on August 1st with tickets as low as $10. You don't want to miss out. And the Edmonton Elks are hosting a Labor Day rematch brunch. Contact Christine at the Edmonton Elks team store for more. Tickets are $225. And you can expect that same Spirit of Edmonton treatment at this Labor Day rematch brunch. Where the Elks are, you're up to date. And we got to give you all, I'm not going to say you guys, you gals, just how about you all? We're going to give everybody a shout out for tuning in tonight. We see you on the live stream. Shout out you. Shout out you. Shout out to tailgaters in the herd chat. Chris Agar, bacon wrapped hot dogs for tailgates at his stall. Chris, feel free to chime in with that stall number. We're going to try to work a system, maybe a flag system to let everybody know where they can eat in the tailgate. Yeah. Dave McKinnon did acknowledge that a bunch of people just kind of stormed the Cordy crew and started eating, and one person was just kind of hanging out the whole time. So he's like, yeah, can we like figure out like a good system to make this work, so then that way people know when it's a private party or when it's a free for all, whatever.
Yeah.
We'll get there. But shout out to the tailgaters, shout out you, shout out the viewer, listener, wherever you may be tuned into the Elks Call, we salute you. All right, next up. Oh, we got it. It is green or gold. Green or gold is brought to you by the Stampeders Roundup. If you're a Stamps fan and you're listening to our show, your Stampede Bowl trophy has 2 E's on it.
Don't
so,
yell at me, though.
What?
Don't yell at me, though. You're yelling. You're yelling at me.
Don't yell at me. But if you are a Stamps fan and you are listening to our show, reminder that Stampede Bowl trophy does have 2 double E's on it. So we're coming for it next year. But until we get it next year, you can go ahead and listen to the Stampeders Roundup. Go check out Jason's show only on Shotgun Sports Network. He just had Joe Pritchard from Rouge, White, and Blue.
Yeah.
So great listen, great show. He does awesome stuff over there. All right, green or gold? We're going to bring up a topic or item, and if you like it, you're going to vote gold. If you don't like it, you're going to vote green. Herd chat, you know what to do. Let us know what you think. Give us a green, give us a gold. Throw it in the herd chat to have your voice heard, H-E-R-D. For the first one, it's actually ELKS. Green or gold? Is it green or is it gold for the ELKS Elks chant, which I noticed they stopped doing at the last game?
Did they?
I do not recall them doing the ELKS Elks.
Don't remember, but I'll tell you what, it's a green for me.
That's a green?
I got tired of it.
Wow.
Like, it was fun.
Wow.
It was fun, and then it wasn't fun. And then it just got repetitive. Like, we've brought this up in multiple episodes in the past.
Shout out Matt Songs for coming up with that one, by the way.
Which is great. Don't get me wrong. But when it's the only thing that they chant, like, come on. You got to be more creative. You got to bring something more. You got to give me variety. You got to give me more to chant, not just the exact same chant. And by the way, I have a really hard time with my accent saying elks, 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 elks repeatedly. So it just turns out to sound x, 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 x. So let's
falling back on the accent thing, eh? You're like, my accent.
No, I'm just saying that I like it, but not every single time. Give me something different once in a while.
It looks like we do have some folks that agree with you here. Game Day Baby does say green. John Hayden also says green in the herd chat. But I see that my guy Dustin, here is going with the gold. I love it. I know you like it. I love it. I think that we need more chants in Commonwealth Stadium. I kind of want to open this up a little bit more. Somebody had mentioned at my workplace, they're like, why don't they have a supporters section? Why don't they have a hardcore supporters section where people just yell and scream? Like, why don't they have a loud section? And I was like, you know what? That's actually not a bad idea.
Isn't the whole point is that they want every section to be a loud section? You know?
Okay, marketing guru.
Like, you don't want to just segregated to one area. You want it to be throughout the whole state.
Okay, let's save this for next week's episode. I'm gonna next week on the Elks Call, we're gonna talk about a potential supporter section. Nobody digging on this yet. You're gonna have to come back next week. Yes, like soccer. All right, next, green or gold? Tarps in the upper bowl. Green or gold?
I'm gonna say gold for this.
What are you saying?
Gold. Oh my goodness, you got me. I think for now, until because it will happen, until the upper bowl gets open, at least it makes it look less empty. But not only that, those tarps are a great opportunity for advertisements. So if they get sponsors that they can have their logos, it means more money for the team. So if you're putting tarps that have brands, you know what? It makes it look less empty, and at least you're bringing in some revenue.
Yeah.
That's why it's gold. Like once it's open, once we have more people, then of course they're gonna open it up, and you don't need those anymore. Maybe you can move them to the other sections, like where they used to have them before. That's what I think.
Yeah.
You know, you can agree with me. We don't have to disagree in every single one
Yeah,
of these.
no, I think for the first time in the segment's history, I might be a gold. I mean, Dustin does make a great point. I remember going to games in the late '90s that were completely sold out. That's where you don't need the tarps, and then he does also say gold. Unfortunately, Game Day Baby also does say I agree. Gold will look better and gain revenue. John Hayden also does say gold.
Unfortunately.
Dustin did say gold, unfortunately. So, I mean, we do have, if the seats are not filled, might as well sell the ads on the tarps. You can also have loge sections, which I think are doing well. I think because they do have that tarp up there now, the Coventry Homes tarp, because it's the Coventry Homes Loge. So they did get some advertising up there. They are generating some funds from that. I mean, that is also, the Coventry is sponsoring the Loge project. And I mean, the overall name of that section now is the Coventry Homes Loge. So I get it. I get it. I think it was better when you had Elks branded, or Eskimos at the time branded tarps. The One Empire tarps, if anybody remembers, those were pretty sweet. I like those. I do miss those. Should have found out where those went, because I would find a way to tarp our house with one.
Oh my goodness.
Catherine hates them. Discover the 10 reasons why Scout and Attic is not allowed a tarp over the house, a One Empire tarp. Click the link to find out more. But yeah, I mean, I do get it. It does generate revenue. I think a good example is the Seattle Sounders in the MLS. What they do with Lumen Field, it's now Lumen Field, used to be CenturyLink, but Lumen Field, they do a big graphic over the top, and they make it more than just tarps. It's not just advertising.
Right.
This is a whole look for your venue.
I feel like that's expensive.
Larry Thompson got money. What do you want me? What do you want me to say?
He still needs to make money, though.
I know, which is why they're
you
putting.
Spend money to make money.
But that's why they're putting businesses on these tarps. That's why they're selling that space for companies, which I completely understand and I get. Dustin, let's win some games and fill the upper deck. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing.
That's what it's going to take. I mean, if you fill that upper deck, then you don't need those advertising.
That's exactly it. And I mean, we will get there. Dave Jamieson even said we'll get there. It's going to take wins. It's going to take getting this team back on the right track, which I think they are right now. I think this is a lot more progressive than some of the trash we've seen, for lack of a better term.
Yikes.
You realize how hard this show has been for the last few years? That 0-7 point last year, that was tough to build that show. What do you talk about? Really losing again. All right, let's jump into our final segment. It's a couple of F's. It's the fan forum here. The fan forum is brought to you by the Argos Fancast. Join Clay, Will, and Sir Doug as they give you the latest from Argos land right here on Shotgun Sports Network. They are on a little bit of a hiatus, but we will let you know once their latest episode drops. Let's get back to our episode. In this segment, we're going to talk about the hottest topics surrounding the Edmonton Elks and the CFL as a whole. Herd chat for the final time tonight. Blow it up, blow up the herd chat, and get your comments and questions onto the show. And new for this season, we will be taking in questions and asking them in the fan forum. So throw them in there, throw them in the herd chat. We're going to bring them up, and we want to have some fun with this. Let's open it up. Let's open it up. Question number 1 here in the fan forum. The Edmonton Elks are sitting at a 1-3 start to the season. The last 2 games displayed a team that looks more complete than years past. Exactly what we've just been talking about. With the East looking weak as a whole, as a division as a whole, should fans expect a playoff appearance from the Edmonton Elks at this point in the season?
I think it's too early to tell. I don't know. It's too early. Talk to me again after Labor Day, and then we can see. It's too early. I don't know. Just listen. Just because they won 1 game, you're not gonna go all gung ho with we're gonna make it to the playoffs. I mean, I understand that you're a Leafs fan, and that's the thing.
Just outing me here on this show today.
Like, I understand that that's a thing, but no, I think it's too early. I'm not sure. I don't know. I think we need to see a few more games. We need to see some of those hard games, BCs, the Winnipegs, the Alouettes. I don't know when we're playing. Seriously.
Well, the Alouettes we've already played for the season.
Yeah, I know.
We're done with that one.
We're not playing.
Oh no, we will go back. We will go back
again,
on Friday, the August 8th.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. So there's still a few games that are very critical,
Right.
and depending on how they do, then we'll see. So I'm cautious about this. I don't know. I don't want to say no. I don't want to say yes.
I'm saying yes.
I'm saying a maybe.
I'm saying yes for sure.
We have Dustin over here. I'm gung ho.
Gung ho. I love it. I love it, Dustin.
We have a lot of yeses. We have Game Day Baby here with yes. We have Steve Benassi with yes. We have Dustin with yes.
It's a yes party over here. Yes, we should expect playoffs. This team has sucked for way too long. Also, like we've mentioned like 5 times already, this team is a lot more progressive.
Yeah. There's definitely, it's a different team than last year.
I can't believe like how we've watched this team go from a really vanilla playbook and things looking like really
well, see, but here's the thing, just last
really
episode we called it vanilla,
very vanilla.
So that's why I'm so cautious, because I know that there's still a lot of things that just because we won one game doesn't mean that they have fixed them.
No,
right? So
but going back to even to what Dave Jamieson said, right? It's about how Jordan Maximic builds this playbook around Tre Ford, how he works with Tre Ford, and he has experience in it. So we can see some of these progressions already, and that's what you want. You want to see those progressions. You want to see this team look better game over game. And with the rate that they're improving, like that Winnipeg game, that was close.
Yeah.
I think that Winnipeg game we could have won. Her chat, let us know what you think. Yeah. Dustin does say this is the first year I've been excited about EE football since 2015.
That says a lot.
Back when Michael Riley was quarterback. Okay, everybody drink. I think he fished that one. I think Dustin fished that one out. But
that's what people are gonna start doing. You know what you started. You know what you started. Anyways, Steve,
we're in this together, everybody.
I'm saying both Alberta teams make the playoffs and will be in the Western Final. Oh.
Hot, spicy take. Very spicy. Very spicy. I would love that because I saw his comment come in and I was like, man, do I ever remember the days of? I'm not gonna say it. MR13. I'm saying MR13 versus Bo Levi Mitchell.
Right. You're doing this.
No, but when we were competitive back then, that's what the matchup was. It was Calgary versus Edmonton, and to go through that in the Western Final, sometimes you hated Calgary. Yeah, you hated them. There's a reason why I get like this every year, and you haven't quite experienced it on that level. You have experienced the rivalry quite a bit. You know what it's all about. You see it on the NHL side. You see it on the CFL side. But to deal with that in the CFL playoffs, like that Western semi or that Western final, the Western final here in Edmonton in 2015, just one of the greatest games. It is the greatest CFL game I've ever been to. That you just can't beat it. Like there's a hatred for Calgary, and everybody's all on the same board. Everybody's all on the same page, all on board. Hate the stats. Exactly, Dustin. Steve Benassi sometimes.
All right. Well, let's talk about the second question, and then we can bring up John Hayden's comment.
Okay, yes, I agree. Thank you, because it does actually tie in with this question. Okay, fan forum question number 2. The BC Lions are coming to town with Nathan Rourke at QB1. The Elks have Tre Ford at QB1 as well, making this an exciting all-Canadian quarterback shootout at Commonwealth Stadium. Is this matchup being overhyped, or will we see fireworks on Sunday night?
I don't think it's being overhyped. I think that it's appropriately hyped. It should be. Why not? We have 2 of the most exciting quarterbacks that you can watch playing against each other. That in itself will make it a really exciting game.
Well, and I think another interesting stat is in the most outstanding Canadian race right now in the CFL, Tre Ford and Nathan Rourke are tied. So that's for most outstanding Canadian in the CFL season.
Actually, well, there's not many of those, but yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, not many of those. Yeah, that's cool, I guess.
No, I think it's really, and going back to John's comment over here, I really thought BC would be doing a lot better at this point, but they might not even make the playoffs. We can beat them this week.
Oh, I love that. No, and I agree. I think that BC was supposed to be looking a lot better. I think they also had a bit of an organizational reset. They did hit that reset button a bit by removing Rick Campbell as head coach, and then bringing in Rig Maiden at GM. I believe Campbell might have been, was he head coach and GM? But Buck Pierce is now in at, and then of course they also lost their offensive coordinator in Jordan Maximic, who came over here to Edmonton. So they've had quite a few switch ups within their front office and then coaching staff as well. So I thought that BC would be doing a lot better. I think that they might be off a little bit worse than the Edmonton Elks, because at least the Edmonton Elks have kind of hit reset in a major way, and they knew what they were doing in hitting that button. You take a look at BC; they should not be in this position right now.
No,
you have
right
Nathan
now.
Rourke.
Not
You
right
just
now.
you sign this guy to a massive contract. You're building the team around him. You've effectively hit reset as soon as you grabbed him. You let Vernon Adams Jr. walk. You've made your choice. Now you have to build this team around Nathan Rourke. Like, I don't know. I think that they should be doing better, but they might not be. They might actually miss the playoffs and the Double E make it in. This is a major game for that. Let's take a look here, because I don't think we have. We don't have. Oh, we do have. We have 3 games against BC this year. So if you want to win the rubber, you have to win this one. So this is a major game. But let's get back to the question: is this matchup being overhyped? I think the emphasis on Canadian sometimes is just, it's a little bit too grand.
But it should be, because there isn't a lot of it. I just made a comment about there's not many Canadian players in the CFL. Like, we are in Canada, there should be an emphasis on that, right? And it's not very often that you see 2 Canadian quarterbacks going against each other. So the league in itself could use a little bit more hype.
Yeah.
If that's what's going to take to create hype for the CFL, then so be it.
I agree. I do agree with that. I mean, the Canadian content, especially right now, political strife. Mentioned it on the show before. There is political strife going on right now. But I do think that we need to be focusing on our Canadian game for sure. Overhyped, I think that it's being hyped fairly, if anything. I mean, I haven't seen too much in the way of CFL promoting this game majorly as the Canadian quarterback shootout. But I mean, kind of going back to what Tre Ford says himself, I just want to be recognized as a quarterback.
Of course. I mean, I think anybody wants to be recognized as a good quarterback, but having a little bit of patriotism doesn't hurt.
Yeah, I agree. Dustin here does say, it's been a long time since I've wanted a name on the back of an E jersey, but now it's Ford time. I love it. Go get that new jersey. We do have them. They are slick. And the icon jerseys are pretty nice too. I like the icons. I think Larry Thompson is a big fan of those as well. We did see the icon jersey last game. So I think there's a little bit of elk superstition with that with that icon jersey as well. They feel like they win a little bit more in those guys, which, hey, you know what? That's part of the culture. You feel like you win more doing certain things. You need to kind of have some of those fibers in your sports team's cloth. Dustin here does say hyped fairly. Big game for momentum as well. John Hayden does say no, it's gonna be a fun game. Game Day Baby does say, I think our D will shut Rourke down. 3 sacks. I'm writing this one down and I want to see it. I'd love 3 sacks.
I would love that.
Jake Seresna.
Has to. Let's see it.
It'd be nice go back down to the what is it, the Play Alberta Field at Commonwealth Stadium and go hang out with the players again.
Well, we don't have the kids this week.
So we can't. We're locked out. We're not children. Hey, Jamie Fadoon makes it down there, so
yeah, we could. I'm sure we could.
I like the icon jerseys, but the numbers are impossible to see on the field, and you are not wrong about that.
Very much. It's so hard to see.
Very hard to see.
Yeah.
Love the gold numbers. Love the fact that those are back. And then if they both have a good showing, they can hit it more in the future. They can hit it more in the future. Yeah, no, I get what you're saying here. No, I get what you're saying. If this ends up being an electric game, then they'll hype it up a lot more.
For sure.
Hype is the word. They could potentially hype it up a lot more, show all the highlights, right? I don't think, besides the first game of the season this year, I don't think this matchup has really been displayed too much. And that last game was pretty brutal against BC to open up the season. The Edmonton Elks had a pretty brutal showing against BC. We got
in the preseason?
No, in regular season.
Oh.
Remember when they opened up with Snoop Dogg?
Yes.
Yeah, we lost that one.
I know.
A lot. By a lot, sorry.
By a lot.
We lost that one a lot. Yeah, no, it was a brutal game. This time around, I think it's going to be a lot different. And now that there are a couple of injuries with BC, they're still trying to find their footing, and there's more film. That's the other thing that we sometimes forget about. Film is everything.
Yeah.
And there is film on Tre Ford, but tell me how much different that game plan could potentially be this Sunday versus last Sunday. We didn't see much for design plays around Tre Ford. We didn't see many trick plays. We saw some stalling 3-and-1s. We know what we saw for sure, but will that be the same game plan that they're going to roll out against the BC Lions? Absolutely not. No. It's going to be good. So, and yes, we did get that Ken. We got it. We figured her out. All right. I think it's about that time. We are at the 2-hour mark, so that means we are going to close the fan forum and do our final shout outs here. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight has been an absolute blast. Like always, we can't thank you enough for riding with the Elks Call. If you're watching, please subscribe to Shotgun Sports Network. Give us a like, give us a subscribe, smash the thumbs up. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. That's how you know that people are enjoying our show.
I'm going to go ahead and change that title description and everything right now.
We're going to do that right after this show is over. But once again, if you are watching on Shotgun Sports Network. If you're listening, you're probably listening on TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Edmonton Sports Talk, or wherever you get your podcasts and shows. Once again, give us a like, subscribe, follow, all of that good stuff. Until next week, my name is Scout, a.k.a. the rep from Section X.
And my name is Catherine, a.k.a. the Even Elks.
We are the Elks Herd. This was the Elks Call. Thanks a lot for joining us, everybody, and we will catch you all on the next episode. Join the herd. You know what it is. We're cheering fight, fight, fight on Edmonton. Thanks a lot, everybody. Cheers.
Have a good night.